So today we are going to see like, okay, you store the data, but like how you are going to retrieve the data, how you are going to manipulate the data, how you are going to operate the data, okay, how you are going to edit the data, how you are going to delete the data, how you are going to manage the data. All these kinds of things are required even for an ETL tester. Why? So what exactly the ETL tester role? From here you are going to start your testing roles, like, or like responsibilities, I can say. What exactly is happening on ETL testing? Basically, when you're talking about the application testing, so what exactly you're doing application testing? You are testing the specific functionality of a page or a web page or an application page, whatever it is. So you're checking the functionality. For example, if I'm entering some data, is this going proper channel or not, or the appropriate values are displaying on a screen or not. These kind of things you are testing as part of the application testing. Okay, but the only difference over here also you are testing, but what you are testing is the data is flowing properly or not. What is the difference between the application and the data, or application and this ETL testing? The only difference is in the application testing you are concentrating on how you can view the data. Here you are concentrating back end how the data is loading. That is what the major difference between the application testing and ETL testing. So when you are testing how data is getting stored, how data is getting populated, then you should know, okay, you should know how to open that data, how to view the data, excuse me, how to view the data. If in the application testing, you might not require this because you need to click on an application so that the specific application page will open. But here you need to know where the data is. Okay, that is where little bit concentration, or that is where little bit of more opportunity for you to grab the market. Because if the task is simple, anyone can do it. If the task is little bit typical, then the filtration will be very high. Okay, but at the same time you are having your own opportunities on this data side. Okay, so never worry about what kind of opportunities you're having. There's going to be a different story, but like try to understand why exactly a SQL is required over here, because the SQL is required to explore the data. So whatever you want to do, you need to have a SQL. Okay, so try to understand this concept pretty clear. Even application testers require this. Okay, the SQL concept. Why application testers require this? Because they are not only testing the application. It's not like a just enter like a google.com, it will get the main page. No, even they need to have some kind of a knowledge on select queries. Okay, you might be having on all the queries, but even the application testers might require on a select queries. At least the basic level of SQL even they also required. But what you require, you are requiring a additional knowledge on the ETL side. But coming to the SQL side, okay, you should be little bit expertise than the application testers. That is giving an edge to you in the market. Okay, so from my perspective, what you need to learn over here is better you should be an expertise on SQL. Learning SQL is pretty much simple if you know the basics. Trust me. Okay, so what you need to know, you need to know the alphabets. Okay, then you can write whatever the word you want. If you know the ABCD, you can write like whatever the, if you know like AEIOU, the OLs, okay, then you can write whatever you want. The same way, if you know the basics, then you can write whatever the query. Okay, so it will be more interesting the SQL. So maybe like once you get the installation, then we can work on the a lab kind of stuff. But right now try to understand what is a SQL. Yesterday we discussed about the SQL and PL SQL. What is a SQL? SQL is a structured query language. SQL is a structured query language. Why I'm calling it as a structured query language? Querying means what? Asking a question is a query. Okay, so what is a language? A language means what? A Java is a language, C++ is a language. Why you will use a Java language? To build different kind of application. Even C++ is also same. So it's kind of a language, where you can build something. But coming to SQL, it's kind of a language where you can operate something. What is that something? The data. To operate or to perform different kind of an actions on data, what kind of language you need? You need a structured query language. Okay, like Java and C++, even SQL is a language. Okay, like English and Hindi, even SQL is a language. In the English and Hindi, why you will use the English and Hindi? To communicate with the people. The SQL to communicate with the data. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Now, what are the things? What are the things in SQL? So when you come to the SQL, there are two major categories. One is data definition language and another one is data manipulation language. So please remember this thing. What is the data definition language and what is the data manipulation language? It's pretty simple. By looking at the definition or like by looking at the statement itself, you can tell. Data definition language. What is the data definition language? Hey, just a sec. Harika, Swapna is calling. Sorry. Okay, so you need to remember two things. One is data definition language, data manipulation language. In the high level, okay, when you look into the SQL from very high level, okay, data definition language is one part. The second part is data manipulation language. The third part, even there is a third one, that is data control language. So don't think about the data control language. That is only for the admins and like very higher levels. Right now, try to concentrate on data definition language and data manipulation language. In the statement itself, in that category statement itself, we can say, what is the data definition language? You are defining something or you are deriving something. That is a definition. Okay, you are giving a definition to the data. Means what? So it's kind of a structure you are providing. You are defining new thing. That is a data definition language. Like what? You are creating a database objects. You are creating a new things. You are defining a new thing like tables, indexes, views. We don't get worry about these things. We definitely discuss all these things in clear. Right now, try to understand definition language means what? You are building something. Okay, your brand new creation. That is data definition. Data manipulation means whatever is existing in that, you are trying to play around. Like either you can put some data into that, you can update the data into that, or you can delete from that or whatever. Once you create some structure, once you define some structure, then you can play around. Like creation of a building. Okay, normally what I can say is creation of a structure is a definition or DDL. Putting or like playing around on that structure is a manipulation. So these are the two major categories. Like one is a data definition language and another one is a data manipulation language. So blindly you can remember like this. Data definition means what? Either you are creating something new. Data manipulation means you are trying to play around whatever that can be an insert, that can be a delete, that can be an update. Okay, so whatever it is, that can be a select also. So normally you can, the abbreviation I can say is a SUDI, like a SUDI. Okay, for data manipulation language: select, update, delete, insert. Okay, so SUDI. So just remember like that. So these are the two major categories in SQL. Like I don't know, like what you call vowels is the one thing, and the second one in English what you call? Any idea, Harika? Harika, are you there?
Yeah.
యా, నాది తెలుగు మీడియం అండి, నాది ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియం కాదు. సో నాకు అచ్చులు హల్లు ఐడియా ఉంది. ఓవెల్స్ అండ్ సెకండ్ థింగ్ ఏమంటారో ఐడియా లేదు. ఐడియా ఉందా మీకు ఏమైనా? AEIOU ఆర్ ద ఓవెల్స్?
ఫస్ట్ టైం అంటున్నాను ఈ క్వశ్చన్ మీద.
నేను కూడా ఫస్ట్ టైం గుర్తొచ్చింది నాకు దానికి రిలేట్ చేస్తే. మీరు తెలుగు మీడియమా రవి, ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియమా?
అందుకని ఇప్పుడే ఫస్ట్ టైం అంటున్నాను ఈ క్వశ్చన్.
Okay, great. So that answer me like you don't know that. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on, whatever it is. So AEIOU is a vowel, and the second category is like the remaining things. Okay, so even you can classify this as a data definition language and data manipulation language. So blindly remember, data definition means you are creating something. Data manipulation means whatever you created, you are playing around.
Yeah.
Now you need to understand what you are going to create. What basically you are going to create on database. Yesterday we discussed. When I'm talking about the database means what? Database means it's kind of in a box. Within that box, you are going to have multiple boxes again. So what those boxes? So database itself is a box. When you open that box, you can see a different kind of a objects. Those objects I called as a tables. Even assume that even the table as a box, just open that box. What you can see? Rows and columns. Again open those rows and columns. What you can see? The final or the lowest granularity from your structure is the data. Okay, so that's how if you come up little bit one level up from the data, then you can see a rows and columns. Again one level up, then it's a table. Again one level up is a database. But I'll come to one more point over here. From the database to table, there is one more layer. I'll come to that in the next slide. But as of now, try to understand a database is a combination of tables. The creation of those tables, creation of those objects, creation of those whatever the rows and columns is part of the DDL, means data definition language, like you are creating, constructing. But data manipulation language means whatever the least granularity, I'm calling that as a data. When you play around on the data, then it's a data manipulation language, that is DML. Okay, now so SQL is relatively easy to learn. So if you know these basics, so the primary basic is DDL and DML, and the second thing is how you are going to write that queries. Okay, if you know that, it's pretty simple. So basic command set has vocabulary of less than 100 words. If you put all these SQL commands or SQL queries, there will be like less than 100 keywords. So if you think of Linux, when you're writing a Linux commands, you will see a lot of keywords. Even if you put a single semicolon, or like even if you put a, instead of a capital letters, if you provide in the a small case letters, then still it's going to error out. But like in the SQL, hardly you're going to have 100 words you need to remember. Like select, from, where, in. Okay, all these are kind of a keywords. By putting all this SQL itself, you will get like less than 100 words. Okay, and it's a non-procedural language. So if you want to go for a procedural language, then it's called a PL SQL. Procedure means what? You are going to write some kind of a steps. That is a procedures, like step 1, step 2, step 3. First this one has to come, next this one has to come. This is kind of a procedure. So normally where you use this procedure, normally in the Java or like some other language, you will have this kind of a functions and everything. But SQL is pretty simple. Okay, just it's a command level, or it's kind of a single statement level. Of course, if you want to write, you can write like a subqueries, and it may increase like 100 lines. But normally the all the statements in the SQL are pretty simple. The only thing you need to understand, what are those 100 words you need to understand. Okay, next, American National Standard Institute prescribes a standard SQL. Basically, who invented this thing? So, or like I can say like who prescribed this thing? So we already learned this thing like ASCII. Do you remember ASCII and
Yeah.
Unicode? All these things. Like the same way, there is a kind of a standard, or there is a kind of a group. Okay, which will what I can say is like normally like I can say like a patent. If you're inventing a new things, you are going to take in a patent. Or if you're inventing something, some group or like some team is representing that. So like the same way, even American National Standard Institute is prescribing this as a standard SQL. Why this is a standard SQL? Why I'm calling it as a standard? See, in the market, in the real-time market, you may see like 100 different databases. Okay, 100 different databases. The best example for this is the buildings in America or US, like, or anywhere, like, I don't know like what happening in the UK, but like India I cannot consider. But like in the US, if you want to build a home, okay, if you want to build a home in a community, they will prescribe it. Okay, this is what my standard. Okay, on top of it, if you want to go for additional changes, it's going to cost you extra. But the base model, the base structure is this thing. You have to go with this structure. That's how these people will put a conditions, right? I don't know, like with have you ever seen like the constructing of these things? They are having a specific structure. You cannot go out of this structure unless if you want to pay extra. Okay, whatever the price they are saying, they have to go with the structure. In the same way, whatever the database you are inventing, for example, today Oracle is there, today DB2 is there, tomorrow maybe ABC database coming, but still you need to remember before building the database should support this SQL because it's a standard. In the market, it's a standard. Whatever the thing you are building, that should support this SQL. I mean, or like the best example, what I can see in my home right now is like the ports. Okay, the electrical ports. Whatever you build, that can be a TV or that can be a fridge or whatever it is. My port is this much. This is what the power, electricity power it can provide. Or you should take this electricity, the length and the width and everything should match to these ports. Like that, everyone is building their own standards. Based on those standards, you are going to build the things. Like the same way, for a database also, you are building a standard. Like SQL is a standard. Whatever this SQL language is there, each and every database has to use this SQL. So what you need to understand is, here, even if people say I have a Sybase, I have a DB2, I have Oracle, I have anything like Teradata, whatever it is, the basic SQL is common. There is no change. Okay, so whatever the like, there are different kind of a SQLs, but we are going to learn that. But from this slide, the very important thing you need to understand is, whatever the database, the structured query language is common. Maybe the wordings little bit change, but the way you use the SQL is going to be same. The way you use the DML, the way you use the DDL language are same. Okay, but whatever I mentioned, like 100 words I mentioned, right? These 100 words could be different. Okay, is that clear?
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Based on these 100 words only, they are building their databases.
Okay.
Next, these are what the things you are going to use as those 100 words. That is what I was mentioned like in my last slide. So what are those words? What are those keywords? So when I'm talking about the DDL, what is the DDL? Data definition language means what? You are constructing something, means create. Create is the construction, right? Create a home means what? Build a home. So like the same way, create schema authorization, create table, okay, or not null, unique, primary key, all this comes under create table. So don't get confused about all these things. I mean, frankly speaking, these are the things you don't require. But just to have an idea, create is a command to create something. Okay, so whatever is here, alter is a command to alter something. Means what? Altering means what? Today I have 10 columns, okay, in my table. Okay, let me put in this way. Today I am having these 3 columns: column 1, column 2, column 3. To build this, okay, here I'm using this the Excel, but like if you're really building, then it's going to be different. To create this, what command I need to use? Create command. Okay, okay, now I want to add one more column here, like column 4. So what kind of command I need to use? What kind of operation I'm doing? First of all, I'm altering whatever is there. I'm altering. It's kind of an alteration to the existing one. So means what? I am changing the structure. Earlier I used to have only these 3 columns. Now I added one more. Means what? I am changing complete structure of this. So that is why I am calling this as a DDL command. The first one, creation of a table, DDL, because you are creating a new thing. And next, whatever is built on top of it, you are adding one more column. Means you are changing the structure. Even this is a DDL command. So what kind of command I used here? Alter. And here I used create. Okay. So next, drop. What is a drop? Now I want to delete this column. Complete delete this column. Means what? I'm using a command called drop. So again I change the structure. Can you see this? Earlier I have 4 rows. Sorry, 4 columns. Now only 3 columns. before adding this call 4, I used to have 3 columns. After adding this, I got like 4 columns. So means what? I'm completely changing the structure of a specific object. So that is called DDL. That's why I'm calling data definition language. Okay. I don't want you to concentrate much on this slide, but forget about everything, whatever is there, we definitely discuss. But when the situation comes, I'm going to explain. I don't want to confuse you now itself. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Next. This is what DML. Now, whatever I spoke till now, okay, till now, whatever I spoke with you is a DDL. Now we are talking about DML. Means what? Insert, select. Like, okay, just remember like a SUDI. SUDI. Select, update, delete, insert. Okay. Select, update, insert, delete. Now let's see this. Okay. Now, what is a select? I'm having the data like this. 1, 2, A, B. Okay. There is no fourth field, right? B. Now, 2, 3A, C. Now, I want whatever is there in the column 1. Okay. That is select. I want to select column 1. I'm not changing any structure, right? I'm trying to read the data. So when I say select, I want like someone wants to view the data in column 1. Assume you don't have any visibility. Okay, assume you don't have any visibility to this table. Basically, a layman person will not have any visibility, right? Because he don't know anything about the database, he don't know anything about the a table. Okay, for a business person, if you tell him like, okay, in an employee table there are like a 500 employees, in the column 4 you can find the employee number, the employee details of Krishna. What he will do, even if you provide like column 4 or column 3, or like, he doesn't care. What he want, whether Krishna employee is there in the organization or not. That is what he want to know. But if you mention him like, okay, Krishna employee record is there in column 4 and go and select column 4, he don't understand anything. Even for any person, okay, for any person who would like to know on the database what is there, he need to understand how he is going to read the data. Without knowing how he is going to read the data, he cannot, right? If you want to read the data, whatever is in the column 1, what you need to do? Select, you need to write a command. What is that command? Select so and so column. Right now I want select column 1. Now, if I do select column 1, what are the details you are going to get? Harika?
Column 1, 2.
Yeah, 1, 2. Perfect. So what I did now, I was reading the data from the table. Okay. This is called select. Okay, or yes, I can say select. So did I change any structure?
No.
No, I'm only reading the data. I'm playing around whatever is there on the table. I'm not even touching the structure. Now, what I said is increase the Krishna salary from 10,000 to 20,000. Okay. Earlier, Krishna salary was 10,000. Now my manager asked me, okay, let's increase his salary to 20,000. So even there should be a record also, right? Then only he will get the salary based on his records. So I updated the record from 10,000 to 20,000. Now, what kind of operation I did? I did update. Now, I said a new person is joining. Okay, Mike is joining in the company. Okay, so let join this person in the company. Then, okay, you got the requirement. So what you need to do? You need to create a new record. Okay, his salary is 10,000 and his branch could be something like a D4. Now what I did? Insert. Now I said, like the manager said, like Krishna is not performing well, so let's take him out. Delete. So in all these four operations, I just modified the data, or I just played around the data. I didn't change any structure, right?
Yes.
These are the things I'm calling as a DML, manipulation language, data manipulation language. Okay. So there are two other things, commit and rollback. I'll discuss this again after some time because like right now I don't want to confuse. Now, maybe like I don't want to continue until you practice something on this one. Okay. Because these are the foundations. Even whether you're going for application testing or any testing, knowing select, insert, update, delete. Okay. Maybe like for application testing, 50% I can say, but coming to the ETL is a 90 to 100%. You should know these things. Okay.
Okay.
So now what I recommend you is like first try to start with the select. First you make yourself comfortable with these 4 commands. Don't create any tables. No need to create any tables. Just try to write select, update, insert, delete. Is this okay?
Okay.
Today I'm going to send out all the commands to you. Okay. Maybe
Yes.
like if you have time tomorrow, even I'll try to send a video. Okay. Not this video. Exactly how to write a SQL query. Harika, are you there?
This whatever virtual box is working now.
Oh, is that working?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you
Yeah.
share that screen?
Yeah. Sure.